Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Numbers with Nora. This is a math tutoring channel that helps you with all your math needs. This is going to be a very quick video on law of cosines. I already did a video on law of sines, so I'm going to do 3 problems on here using law of cosines. Now, to use law of cosines, we either look for side, 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 or side, angle, side. Let's go ahead and look at this first delta math question, okay? It says in triangle OPQ, which I already drew out over here. Okay, it says O equals 290 inches. Side O I find by going across from angle O. So here's angle O, and that's going to be my 290 right there. P equals 720 inches. Across from my angle P is going to be my corresponding side, so that's 720 inches. And then Q is 600 across from my Q, that's going to be 600. They want us to sit there and find the measure of angle P, which I have highlighted right there. All right, so we're going to use the law of cosines, okay? Because I have all my sides. So side, side, side. That means I'm going to use the law of cosine. I already have the formula for law of cosines right here. So let's go ahead and start plugging in, okay? So the first thing I want to do is we're trying to find our angle P. So we already have our side, right? That is attached to the unknown angle. So that's what's going to go here. So that's going to be 720. This is going to, these ones are going to be big numbers, okay? So bear with me. 720 squared. And that's going to equal 600 squared. And I can pick either or side, okay? Because multiplication and addition are commutative, okay? So it doesn't matter whichever side I put first when it comes in accordance to A and B. All right. And then 290 squared. And then minus 2. Again, it doesn't matter whichever I put first, the A or B, because multiplication is commutative. So 600. And all I'm doing is plugging in my variables right now. 290. All right, and then cosine. We're trying to find our angle P, so we don't know that. That's our unknown of P. Okay, now that I plugged everything in, I'm going to use algebra to sit there and start solving this down. So I have 720 squared. That's going to be 518,400. Okay. 400. And then 600 squared is going to be 360,000. And then I'm going to have 290 squared, which is going to be 84,100. And then I have 2 times 600 times 290. All right. That's going to be 348,000. Okay. So that zero is kind of close. And then our cosine of P just comes along for the ride. Okay. All right. And I keep on plugging and chugging. Let's go ahead and combine those together. All right, I'm going to skip some steps right here. Let's go ahead and combine those together. When I combine those together, I'm going to get 444. Thousand and 100. Or let me write down every step for you guys, so just in case you don't get lost. And this just comes along for the ride. The 348,000 times cosine of P. Oops. Cosine of P. And again, that this number 2 just drop down, just comes along for the ride. So all we're doing is trying to simplify this down as much as possible before we pull out our calculator. Okay. So I don't want to just shove all this in the calculator. It's not going to be correct to do so. Now I'm going to subtract this 444,000 1,100 from both sides. Okay. When I do that, I'm going to go ahead and get 74,300. Okay. And that equals to negative 348,000 times cosine of P. Okay. Now I divide both sides by this, negative 348,000. All right, so that's going to look like 74,100 divided by that negative. Don't forget to bring that negative with this number, comma, 1, 2, 3. And then that cos P stays on this side. Okay. And then now for your calculator work, just divide these two numbers. Remember, you're going to get a negative number. For now, I'm just going to put my variable or my cos P on the left-hand side, right? And when you do divide those two numbers, what you're going to get is negative 0.2135. If it is a long decimal, like I said in the last video, I always like to write 4 numbers after my decimal just so I can get as accurate as possible. All right. So our variable P is still not isolated. So this is when we have to sit there and use inverse trig functions to cancel out this cosine. So I use cos inverse. Okay, that's going to cancel out that. But what I do to one side of my equation, I have to do to the other. So cos inverse. And that looks like that. So that cos inverse sits there and cancels those two out. So now I'm going to have P, and you can put that cos inverse in your calculator. And what you're going to get is P equals 102.3. Now remember, if it's telling you to round to a certain place, do round what they ask you to, how they ask you to round. But right now, I just want to show you guys the steps and work and how to get there. Okay. So the next one, I'm just going to show you my work because this is another side. Okay, so again, we're going to use law of cosines for this delta math problem. And we're going to set it up just like this. Okay, I drew out my little triangle, and here's the work for that one. Okay. Pause the video and see if you can go step by step and follow along, but the answer is going to be 5 for this delta math problem. I'm not going to do that problem because I want to show you another law of cosine problem where I use side angle side, okay? And that's going to be this one right here. So in triangle EFG, which I have over here, we have our side F is 470, right? So across from F, that's 470. Our side G is 740. So across from my angle G, that's 740. And then angle E, they give us an angle this time, is going to be 92 degrees. So as you see, we are using law of cosines because it's side angle side. Okay. So we're just going to sit there and plug it into our equation. All right. The side that I'm trying to find, I believe, is side E. Okay. So to plug that in, I'm going to have E squared equals 740 squared. And you can pick whichever ones you want for your A or B, okay? As long as it's not your side that you're trying to find. So 740 squared and then 470 squared. And then minus 2 times those numbers, 470. Sorry. I might start typing this out. 740. And then again times 470. And then cosine, and they gave us our degree, right? So this is going to be cosine of 92 because they gave us that. And that's the angle that's adjacent to the side that we're adjacent. That's across from the side that we're trying to find. Okay. So we keep on plugging and chugging and going, right? So I get e squared equals 547,600. Again, these are really big numbers for these delta math problems. And then plus 200 or 200 or 200,000, 2,200 or oh, I can't speak today, guys. I've been doing math all day. So 220,900. Okay. And then minus two. Actually, I'm going to do all this multiplied, right? So that's going to be 695,000. And then 600. Okay. That's a 5 right there. Sorry. And then cos of 92. I know you guys are wondering, like, why don't you just put it all in the calculator and be done? That's not what you want to do, especially in trig. You want to sit there and simplify down as much as possible without using your calculator. So if you do make a mistake, you can go back and see each step that you took. Okay. So that's really, you want to try to avoid doing that in math. All right. So now let's combine these two. So now I'm going to get 768,500 minus, and that can just come along for the ride because after that, now I feel safe that I can sit there and put this in the calculator, okay, because I can't do this mental math, all right, especially because it's being multiplied by a cosine. Well, I can do that mental math, but using trig, but we're not going there right now. Okay. That's a little ugly. That's okay. So now I'm going to get e squared equals 792,000. 776. And then, like I said, before I round, I always like to put 4 numbers after my decimal place, just so I make sure I can get as accurate as possible. All right. And so the answer for this one is going to be, because I believe they sit there and say to round to the nearest. Oh, we're not done yet. Sorry. My E is not all the way isolated, right? I have this square. So to get rid of that square, I square root both sides. There we go. That looks better. And now I have E equals 890.3, but I believe they asked us to round it to the nearest thousands or whatever. What do they ask us to round it to? The nearest centimeter. Okay, so the nearest centimeter is going to be 890. All right, so that's the answer for that one. If you have any more homework questions or Delta math questions with any subject of math, feel free to comment, send me a message, send me pictures. I'm more than happy to help. Okay, thank you guys for tuning in.